Our reporter Mbalenhle Mthethwa is there. Mbali, and a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. What's happening there?
Good evening, Simpiwe. Yes, indeed, calm has been restored outside the police station in central Johannesburg, where Dudula members or Dudula supporter Nhlanhla Lux Dlamini supporters clashed with police after they saw him briefly making his way to his holding cell. We understand that he was making his way from what seemed to have been negotiations or a meeting where he was formally charged, and he was making his way to the cells, holding cells. That's when the supporters saw him. He tried to communicate with them, trying to tell them to remain strong and to continue in their support. And that is when the police then interjected and had to use a stun grenade in order to disperse the crowd. As you can see, the calm has been restored. Traffic is moving quite smoothly. But I'm not alone here. I'm joined by his legal representative, who's going to give us an update as to, whether he has been charged and what charges he is facing, and some challenges I understand that are on the cards with regards to that bail hearing. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, we have some challenges when it comes to bail because we've been struggling to get prosecutors who are willing and able to do the bail, because all of them, they were washing off their hands, saying that, there's pressure from above. But from now on, I've got one prosecutor who's willing, to process bail. But unfortunately, the initiative must come from the investigating office. I can't get hold of the investigating office. I don't know. Probably he'll come back to me. I don't know. I've been trying to phone him. My instructing attorney has been trying to phone him, and to see where we can go with this.
Are you able to explain to us, you're talking about a bail application, and today is a Friday. Does that mean that, magistrates' courts hear bail hearings on a Saturday?
There is a prosecutor in all police stations and courts. They do have a prosecutor on standby, so that's prosecutor should be available even after hours. And I've got one, and he's available. But I can't find, the investigating officer because, like I said earlier on, he has to initiate the process.
Now, talk to us about the charges. We understand that he's been formally charged. He hadn't been charged for most of the day. We understood that he was brought in for questioning. The police couldn't confirm his identity, but we understand that, this was the suspect, and they said that they couldn't really divulge the name and the identity of the person in custody. Has he been charged?
Yeah, now he's charged, formally charged with housebreaking and theft, and the second charge is malicious damage to property.
So earlier on, we spoke about them. You actually alluded to the prosecutor possibly adding an additional charge of intimidation. Has that been added?
Not yet, not so far. But that was, talked about in the background, that they might add the intimidation charges and other charges that they did not specify. But it seems as if, they haven't, so far.
So earlier on, are you still of the view? You said that you were of the view that, this case will not hold water in court. Are you still of that view? And are you confident that it is possible that you might, Nhlanhla Lux might be able to spend the weekend outside this prison this weekend?
I hope, if things are done, procedurally, without political interference, it should be out. But unfortunately, this is South Africa, where you have, politicians running the show. Like, as you know, that, these charges, the EFF spoke about them, long before, that, they want to bring Nhlanhla Lux in jail. They even spoke, about 7 days, that he should be charged within 7 days. So, and the guy who laid the charges, I said earlier on that it is laughable because the community, around him, they're all saying, accusing him, saying that the guy is dealing with drugs, he's been arrested before. Everybody knows, so it is unfortunate that, it has come to this, but the charges won't hold. Yeah.
Okay, and what sort of, you talk about political interference, and this is something that has been alluded to a little bit earlier on by the Secretary General. Now, talk to us about, do you have any sense of proof? Are you aware of any conversations that have been had? What sort of proof are you relying on, to assert these kind of allegations? Because these are quite serious allegations that there's some political interference.
Well, some of the things you cannot just prove as in 1, 2, 3. But when people don't want to do their job, when people saying, we can't touch this file. But you ask why, you can't get any reason, You are led to one conclusion that, political interference, it has to do with it. I mean, you look at how he was charged or how he was brought in here. I mean, today was supposed to appear, he was supposed to be charged long time ago as they were arresting him, but all the delays, you don't understand. And it shows as if that, somehow they're trying to, punishing him for something, I don't know. But, all indications, they show that, there is some interference from above.
And earlier on, they spoke about Dudula members said that they were unhappy with the manner in which he was arrested. Was he at least warned that he would be arrested? Because usually when we have these high-profile cases, officials usually hand themselves over to the police and they walk in with their legal representatives. How do you feel? What are your thoughts on in the manner in which he was arrested this time around?
I still feel that there was a bit of drama. They could have informed him. He would have handed himself over. This is the man who's been conducting raids with the police. All the raids that he's been doing, including this one, where he's arrested, he conducted the raid with the police. So they could have just phoned him, and say, come to the police station. He's a well-known figure. Where will he run from? He's got assets here, he's got family here. They could have told him, he would have come.
Now, there are those who say that Operation Dudula is an illegal operation, entering into people's homes illegally without a warrant of a search warrant, rather. Please talk to us about, those legalities.
I hear that every day, people are encouraged, they call it active citizenry. That when you see something, you must alert, the police, you must whistleblow. Take it as that, If Operation Dudula sees something wrong untowards, they call the police, they go to the police. It is upon the police to make sure that everything is compliant. The search warrant, they get the judge who's going to endorse it, and then go in there. But if the police come and join Operation Dudula, Operation Dudula has all the right, to assume that everything has been complied with, because they are laymen. In terms of the law, the police must make sure that everything is compliant. I'm not saying, in the past, they were not complying, they didn't have search warrant. But it's upon the police to make sure that everything, it's above board.
There you have it. That was Nhlanhla Lux Dlamini's legal representative speaking to us and giving us an update as to what is happening and their efforts to try and secure a bail and ensure that Nhlanhla Lux Dlamini spends the weekend outside bars today. It's back to you in studio.
All right, Mbali, thank you so much for that update. Mbalenhle Mthethwa there is outside the Johannesburg Central Prison.